Hi, I'm Joe Horn, and you're watching Pelican Sports TV.
With a combined staff of over 250 years of experience, the Bugman has the upper hand on bugs.
Call us today about pest control solutions for your home.
Call 923-BUGS.
And rest easy in a pest-free environment.
Follow the Bugman's plan.
You're on the same flight.
We'll be on the same plane regardless.
Yeah, when we should to work. Anything together? Do we know that?
Got it.
Thanks, Dave.
The big, brilliant, thin Samsung Infuse 4G. Only from the network of possibilities, AT&T.
Explore the charms of the North Shore and visit St. Tammany Parish. Whether you're looking for a cultural experience or an adventure, you'll find it here. Enjoy great attractions and fantastic dining in a relaxed and friendly atmosphere.
Come visit us and discover the history and heritage that is Louisiana's North Shore.
For more information, log on to louisiananorthshore.com/bb.
Hello, my name is Debbie. Welcome to Debbie's Bridal, a formal affair.
Come see the many great lines we carry in bridal, bridesmaids, mothers, flower girls, tuxes, and more. We also carry over 25 top designer lines in debutante gowns, Mardi Gras, pageant, and prom. Come meet me and my staff with over 30 years of bridal and pageant experience. Debbie's Bridal, a formal affair, Burnside and Gonzales, where service matters.
40 years, 4 decades, nearly half a century. That's how long the citizens of Greater Baton Rouge have chosen Richards Honda. A simple, sincere, and honest process.
Louisiana's oldest and most experienced Honda dealership for over 40 years, Richards Honda.
We continue with Tigers Roar on Pelican Sports TV. Another hour for you. 2 hours each and every Wednesday night, 8 to 10 p.m. Appreciate you being tuned in to Tigers Roar. Just about every week during the course of the football season, we'll be joined at about this point in the show by Brian Lazar of TigerBait.com. Brian, how you doing this evening?
Good, Tommy. How you doing?
Oh, we're doing good. Football's in the air, no doubt about that. Brian, question for you tonight. Tell us about LSU practice today, Wednesday, August 10th.
Worked twice for the first time. Full pads outside in the morning. Went indoors in the afternoon with shells. We saw about 15 or 20 minutes each time, so again, we're limited in what we can see. I'll say this, in the morning practice, the defensive coaches were on their players about picking up the intensity, being more physical. Obviously, they must have thought that some of the defensive players have not been as aggressive defensively as they need to be. In the afternoon workout, the defense there, it's funny watching the defense and offense during the individual drills that we see. The offense spends a lot of time on individual personal development, player development, while the defense, you can tell, is doing things to get itself ready for Oregon. So you can definitely see that. One personnel situation for the first time in camp this afternoon, Sam Montgomery worked with the #1 defense at right end. And then again, everybody expected that. It's just a matter of him getting back into football shape after the knee surgery last year.
Brian, I spent a bunch of time on TigerBait.com a little earlier this evening. You guys just have a ton of information and video up there. Tell all the viewers what they're going to get when they go to TigerBait.com.
www.tigerbait.com. Right now, all of the coverage of preseason camp. There's photos, there's videos, there's practice reports, there are features on the players. And that will continue, up until as long as practice remains open, which is about another 8 or 9 days. And then, of course, we'll have coverage, features leading up into the season opener against Oregon. So 7-day free trial all the time. And there's some big breaking basketball news for people who want to go on the site tonight. Just happened. And this is some good news. in basketball.
Can you share it with us, or we got to send them to tigerbait.com?
It just happened, I'd say 15 minutes ago, so let's send them to tigerbait.com.
All right, Brian, as always, we appreciate
all I'm going to say right now is some good news for LSU basketball.
Well, go to tigerbait.com. That's throwing the bait out there, that's for sure. Brian, as always, we appreciate it. We look forward to our visit next week.
Talk to you then, Tommy. Thanks.
All right, Brian Lazar of TigerBait.com, the ultimate throw the bait out there and get them to go. But no, those guys do a good job, and they do a good job of promoting Pelican Sports TV, Pelican Broadcasting, Pelican Radio, and Mike Scarborough and I have had some conversation this week, and we appreciate that. All right, we're going to get into some graphics here, and I got to give a cue to my guy in the truck. He's going to have to follow me in the order of position here. We're going to start in the middle with center. Chris Landry wants your breakdown of the center position for this year's edition of the LSU Tigers.
Well,
and we got to say right now that top guy left the team today.
Well, P.J. Lonergan is a tough as nails technician with a really good motor. He's the starter, and you know, he really comes off with a flat back and really good run blocker, can roll his hips into the defender. He tends to lose his technique versus speed, but he's the #1 guy. The #2 center is T-Bob Hebert, and the #3 guy would be Will Blackwell. So that's how that would work, and it really comes down into those three. T-Bob Hebert, another good technician, very good run blocker, physical guy, and Will Blackwell's another smart, tough, strong guy. So if you were to stack them up, the centers are PJ, T-Bob, and Will Blackwell, who's the starting right guard. So obviously you make that adjustment. T-Bob can play the other guard position. PJ obviously is a starter, but if you were to have a couple of injuries at center and you had to put Blackwell in there, he would be the third guy up at the center spot.
Lonergan is from Rummel High School in Metairie down in the New Orleans area, and I mentioned the graphic that was up, Cameron Fordham. He was one of the gray shirt guys from last year. He has chosen to leave the LSU program. All right, we started with center. We're going to work our way out. Offensive guard position, Chris Landry.
Well, Josh Dworsik is, I think, the best fundamental technician blocker on the team. I think he's really made himself into a really good two-way guard. I think left guard spot is his best spot. He can play tackle. In fact, he is their third tackle if they need to. He's smart, good upper body strength. He understands angles. Not great hip flexion or explosion. Good short set in the pass game. Really good player. Will Blackwell, another smart, tough, strong, physical interior offensive lineman with good size, good initial quickness, the ability to work his hands and replace his hands, really key. We talked about T-Bob Hebert. Again, he's a vital element because of the fact that he can play center or guard. He's the three-position player. Smart guy, doesn't need a lot of reps to be prepared. Started some games at guard last year without ever having practiced at guard. So he's a quick study there.
And that's really kind of a reflection of what Coach Studd said, that he's very smart. He's like having a coach out there that the guy could move and play guard, knew the assignments, knew what had to be done, knew all the line calls, and could take it from there. So I interrupted you, but I had to throw that in.
When he's off, when he's not playing, he is a very vital element still to the guys that are playing. When they come off the field, they'll look to him just as much as they'll look to the coaching staff as to what he is seeing out there, because he's very, very bright, and the young man's got a future if he wants to coach one day. So they're very solid in that regard. Though that's where you're gonna see the guard play come from in those areas. Those aforementioned guys with some flexibility with some center guard matchups there.
And one thing that occurs maybe a little bit more than some of the fans realize, but in particular in the early parts of the game, in this case it'll be Coach Ensminger, you know, after that first series, that second series, you know, when the offensive linemen come off the field, you have coaches ask them, okay, what are you seeing? Are we seeing what we thought we would see? Are they doing something different? Are they slanting? Are they hedging? You know, they get that feedback from the players, and kind of what you said, like even like a T-Bob Hebert who might not be out on the field, or those backup guys, they're all having that conversation when they get to the sideline. They relay that to the coaches, and that helps the whole adjustment process.
Well, if your center's not reaching a three technique, you know, you got to figure out why. Coach, I can't get to him. I mean, he's too quick. It's not working. You've got to be able to make that adjustment. You know, if it's a problem that, you know, he's just not, you know, he's not getting it done, then you've got to make a move elsewhere. But you got to change your protection schemes accordingly based upon what they're seeing too. You've got a view from the sidelines, you're getting a view from the press box from your coaches that are up there, and then you're getting the frontline view from the player that can tell you what they're having trouble with. And a lot of times you got to get that out of them because often they don't want to admit that I'll get him, and finally you look and you've got 12 snaps and he hadn't got him yet. So you've got to figure out, you've got to make that adjustment.
Moving it out, we started with center guard. Now let's get to the offensive tackle position.
Well, Chris Falk at left tackle is the most athletic of the bunch, without question. He's got good size, heavy hands, can really turn a defender. I like his lower body agility. He must learn to replace his hands a little bit better. When defensive linemen knock those hands down, he's got a little bit get a little bit better with replacing those hands. But I think he's got to play with a little wider base and do a good job of you know, squeezing and squaring up versus counter moves. But he's the most gifted natural left tackle that LSU's had in a few years. So he's really good. Alex Hurst, I really like his size, his upper body strength to turn a defender in the run game. Limited athletically to protect the edge, but he's a really good run blocker at right tackle, and he's got a pretty good short set in the passing game. As I mentioned, Josh Dworsik, who we've already talked about, is the third tackle and the guy that they would put in there. And then you'd have to go to Greg Shaw that could play both tackle positions and even move inside to guard. He's an athletic guy he's got some experience in the system. La'el Collins, as we mentioned, is repping at guard, and that's where he ultimately is going to end up playing, probably going to end up starting next year, as LSU is losing both their guards and centers. And then the tight end. LSU wants to run the football. They're going to attempt to run the football, and if they're very successful running the football, that will yield success offensively and on the scoreboard. Talk about the tight end position. Well, the tight end position, D'Angelo Peterson is a really good detached tight end. He's a good on-the-line tight end in the passing game. And in the running game, he's a good position and wall blocker. I think he's got ability to be able to work the passing game down the seam that makes him, I think, an elite category. And I think that he's got real good ability in that direction. The on-the-line blocking guys, Chase Clement, Mitch Joseph, in that order, are the physical offensive run blocking type tight ends that can be a real asset in the running game. Nick Jacobs is another guy that's got ability to get movement in the running game. And Travis Dixon is the one guy that's got some H-back ability. He's not quite where he needs to be from an assignment standpoint, but he's got an ability to detach from the formation, work his way down down the seams. So it's a good group. I think you're going to see some two tight end sets, but remember, I think you may see a lot of one tight end sets with a wide detached set with D'Angelo Peterson, really depending upon how the development of receivers come along. I think D'Angelo Peterson's going to be a big factor in this year's passing game, because if you can get him down the seam, you can really threaten the seam, keep that safety to honor the middle of the field, and that's going to only create some openings on the perimeter for your receivers. So I think it all works in unison without question, and you got to work with your strengths, and I think tight end can be a strength, a position of strength, if they can stay healthy. When we come back, we're going to have some more comments for you about fall practice and the excitement for this 2011 season to get underway. He's Chris Landry, NFL scout, Fox Sports football analyst. I'm Tommy Christ, and you're tuned to Pelican Sports TV, and Tigers roar.
40 years, 4 decades, nearly half a century. That's how long the citizens of Greater Baton Rouge have chosen Richards Honda. A simple, sincere, and honest process.
Louisiana's oldest and most experienced Honda dealership for over 40 years, Richards Honda.
Follow the Bugman's plan.
Rest easy in a pest-free environment.
With mosquito misting systems, Centricon termite baiting, infrared camera inspections, and the Bugman's famous Pest Plus program, the Bugman has the upper hand on bugs. Call 923-BUGS.
When you need to hire, you need to know about Better Baton Rouge Jobs, Better Acadiana Jobs, and NewOrleansJobsList.com. We have a faster, more affordable way to find and hire employees. Now you can save even more with this special offer from Pelican Sports TV. Post your job listings on any of these sites and use promo code Pelican10 to save an additional 10%. Find qualified applicants and save money too with promo code Pelican10. And remember, we're free for job seekers and great for Louisiana business.
Hello, my name is Debbie. Welcome to Debbie's Bridal, a formal affair.
Come see the many great lines we carry in bridal. bridesmaids, mothers, flower girls, tuxes, and more. We also carry over 25 top designer lines in debutante gowns, Mardi Gras, pageant, and prom. Come meet me and my staff with over 30 years of bridal and pageant experience. Debbie's Bridal, a formal affair, Burnside and Gonzales, where service matters.
Creel Tree Service is a licensed and insured tree service providing tree and stump removal, topping, trimming, cabling, pruning, and fertilizing. We have free stump removal with takedowns, free estimates, affordable rates, and senior citizens discounts. Call 774-TREE. That's 774-8733. Get your yard ready for the warmer weather. If it deals with a tree, call me, Creel Tree Service, 774-8733. That's 774-TREE.
Pelican Sports TV presents Pelican Radio. Get ready to mix it up with me, Tommy Krysan, and Chris Landry, weekday afternoons from 3 to 4 p.m. Pro sports, college sports, high school sports, and much more. On the Score 1210 a.m. and on the internet at thescore1210.com. Continuing with some more comments from Media Day held yesterday out at the indoor practice football facility. Got some comments from coaches and players relative to fall practice and the excitement for the season to start. Of course, everybody knows it begins September the 3rd against the Oregon Ducks in Arlington, the Cowboys Classic. And a lot of LSU fans will be heading over there. 37,000 tickets sold. There'll be more than 37,000 people heading that way. I'm quite confident in that. Here's some more comments from Media Day. When we come back, we'll comment on these things and get you an update on Russell Shepard's situation. Here are the comments on fall practice and excitement for the season to start.
Again, 5 days in. You know, we've improved, but we've not yet caught the speed that we need to catch. We're sloppy as we can be, and we're working to offset those beginning of camp issues to get to operating much faster, more efficiently, and cleaner. That leadership really starts to unfold in a very difficult grind of two-a-days, and it's one that I think, you know, it's really progressed to this point through summer, and you know the view of it being their team more. I think that's come, but the heat of two-a-day practice and the everyday consistency, you know, that's yet to come. But I like the leadership of this team. I'm certain that they will step forward. We'll have a quick meeting today on leadership, and it'll be you know, I can't imagine it being anything but a real strong start to the season.
Got a lot of hard work to do before we're ready to play, and that's what fall practice is all about. You know, getting yourself ready to play. As I said, we're in great shape right now. We got to go out and do the work on the field. It's the quality work that's going to get us ready, and we're getting that every day from our offense. We're being challenged every single day from our offense. So it's a fun fall in terms of this kind of preparation.
I'm competing every day. I'm growing every day. I'm getting better every day as a whole and as a unit. I'm picking up things from the other receivers. I mean, I feel like I'm getting better at my routes and all that type of stuff. My hands are getting stronger.
I get the chills thinking about it every night. I just can't wait for this season to get away. And, you know, I'm real anxious.
Quarterback is all about footwork and small mechanical things, so he really emphasized that to us, you know, every day of practice. You know, we looking at our feet every time. We can really figure out what kind of ball we threw, you know, mainly looking at our feet. So that's what our main focus is, and by the time the season comes, you know, our footwork should not be an issue for us. So that's, you know, what his mindset is, and that's what we have been focusing on ever since the spring. So right now, you know, we just getting a lot of repetition with it, you know, really paying attention to it. So when the season comes, you know, it should be nature.
Seems like a long time since the spring, and we're excited to get back out there with those guys and get back with some of the newcomers that we got in. Practice has been going well. We got 5 of them in and getting ready. Got the pads on yesterday, so we'll be doing a lot more hitting and contact and getting a better chance to evaluate what's going on and get guys in the right position. And we're just excited about the first game. To start the season like that, it's a wonderful opportunity for all of us, and we're preparing for it. So,
you know, I look at it a little bit like NASCAR. You know, NASCAR starts off with their biggest race of the year at Daytona, and certainly, you know, when you look at our schedule, they're all big, but this is certainly a big game. But you know what? As you go through the SEC, every single one of them will be that way.
We continue with Tigers Roar. Chris, you talked about it a little bit earlier. You know, you got two-a-days now. They put the pads on. They're not directly getting ready for Oregon yet. Slight things may be being done to address, but the full game plan not in yet.
Well, no, but you don't want to get the game plan in and really have guys peak too early. But they've actually been practicing for Oregon since the spring. And, you know, one of the things that they do, and one of the things that the trick you try to do to prepare for a high up-tempo offense like Oregon is has multiple huddles. They have 3 huddles. They'll literally have those huddles. They're ready to go, and the next huddle is ready to go immediately because that's Oregon's MO. They want to get to the line of scrimmage between 10 to 12 snaps between every play. So defensively, they're preparing for it even more because that's a bigger adjustment than what the offense has to adjust to. So that's why the offense is going at a little bit of a different pace. They're working more on what they need to work on, whereas the defense, Brian mentioned it in his conversation with you, but that's the reason for it, because the defense has the biggest adjustment against the opposition's offense. So they're going to prepare a little bit more for what Oregon is doing, because that's where the uniqueness of Oregon's team is the style of their offense. So they absolutely have been working at it, for some time, and Chief has put a lot of things in. The game plan won't be put into exactly what you do. It won't be put into that week prior to, because you don't want guys to get a little complacent, a little old, a little stale, and peak by, you know, Wednesday or Thursday of game week.
And everybody's excited for the season to start, including the players. They want it to start, but there's a lot of work and a lot of things that need to be done before that ref blows the whistle and they kick it off. Chris, if you will, update everybody on the situation with Russell Shepard. We know he was scheduled to go to media days in Alabama. Last minute, those plans changed. He did not attend. There was a housing compliance issue that surfaced, and the final chapter in that book hasn't been written yet. He is practicing, but it is unknown as to whether or not he'll play against Oregon.
Well, you know, listen, practicing is one thing. He's not been cleared to play, as you mentioned. If they had to leave today for Dallas or Arlington to play Oregon, he would not be eligible just because they haven't got the ruling in. They expect to have it in a week to 10 days, hopefully sooner. And when they get that word, and only then is he going to be cleared to play. I know questions were asked to all 3 parties. Well, the administration was not there. I know I've talked with them, and they've stated clearly that he's not eligible at this point. They're still working on it. Russell addressed it himself and said, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if I'm going to get suspended for a game or several games or what. I really don't know. Les has said there's no problems. He'll be good to go. I think he's anticipating that that's going to be the case, and my sense is, and it's just a sense, is that he will be eligible to make that trip. But at this point, as we sit here today, that is not the case, and hopefully, but it's not affecting his preparation and his involvement. You can practice, but they hope to have that clearly defined so that they can move forward and take him hopefully on the trip to Arlington to play the Oregon Ducks.
When we come back, we'll take our weekly run through the LSU athletic department. We got a Hall of Fame tidbit for you, some baseball, some men's basketball, and we'll let you know about the quote-unquote good news that has occurred for the men's basketball team. All of that and more, and still plenty of football stuff to come. We're here till 10 o'clock. Live on a Wednesday night. Chris Landry, Tommy Chrysan, Pelican Sports TV. Spread the roar. You're watching Tigers Roar.
With a combined staff of over 250 years of experience, the Bugman has the upper hand on bugs.
Call us today about pest control solutions for your home.
Call 923-BUGS.
And rest easy in a pest-free environment.
Follow the Bugman's plan.
When you need to hire, you need to know about Better Baton Rouge Jobs, Better Acadiana Jobs, and NewOrleansJobsList.com. We have a faster, more affordable way to find and hire employees. Now you can save even more with this special offer from Pelican Sports TV. Post your job listings on any of these sites and use promo code Pelican10 to save an additional 10%. Find qualified applicants and save money too with promo code Pelican10. And remember, we're free for job seekers and great for Louisiana business.
One of the key attributes that really puts Papa John's Pizza over the top is our meats. Nobody does what Papa John's does.
Introducing Papa John's new double-layered premium pepperoni pizza. Loaded with a layer of our signature pepperoni, plus a layer of oversized deli-style pepperoni. Just $10 for a large. Or get any large pizza with any toppings. Just $11. Order now at papajohns.com.
Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
Pelican Sports TV presents Pelican Radio. Get ready to mix it up with me, Tommy Krysan, and Chris Landry, weekday afternoons from 3 to 4 p.m. Pro sports, college sports, high school sports, and much more. On The Score, 1210 a.m. and on the internet at thescore1210.com.
For the thirsty, for those who hang out in packs, for heroes, for sidekicks, for those who see the glass half empty, for those who see it half full, for those on the right, for those on the left, for those with nicknames, for those with curves, for people that cycle, for people that recycle, for BFFs, for frenemies, for those with style, for lovers, for families, for big families, for everyone.
Follow the Bugman's plan.
Rest easy in a pest-free environment.
With mosquito misting systems, Centricon termite baiting, infrared camera inspections, and the Bugman's famous Pest Plus program, the Bugman has the upper hand on bugs. Call 923-BUGS.
We continue with Tigers Roar. Each and every week we like to take a run through the athletic department, give you some other things away from football. We'll return to the football topic before the end of the show. Chris Landry, this was announced a little bit earlier this year, but the induction ceremonies to the LSU Athletic Hall of Fame will be taking place in early September, and 6 different people gonna get into that LSU Athletic Hall of Fame. Simone Augustus, Wendell Davis, Suzette Lee, Lloyd Peaver, who was National Baseball Player of the Year in '92, not a year LSU won the national championship. Coach Skip Bertman, some would say, how come he wasn't in it yet? Carl Maddox, others would say he should have been in it by now. But those 6 people will join that LSU Athletic Hall of Fame.
Well, certainly Carl Maddox is a great administrator and did a lot for LSU, and you know, certainly all of these are very, very well accomplished athletes or administrators, coaches. Simone Augustus was a great little basketball player. Boy, I tell you what a great job she did. Of course, Wendell Davis was just phenomenal. Was a guy that was not highly recruited, really developed as a route runner under Jerry Sullivan rather, and just did a great job. Just had great ability as a route runner, and just great hands, and was a great All-American and first-round pick. And unfortunately for him, blew out 2 knees on one play at the venerable Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. The Bears took him late in the first round. So congratulations to this group of 6 that are well-deserved honor.
You know, Simone Augustus played at Capitol High School right here in Baton Rouge, and I remember I didn't see her play in high school, and they had the LHSAA Girls All-Star game that summer at the Pete Maravich Assembly Center, and that's not a game I would have normally went to, but I went so I could see Simone Augustus play, and I was very impressed, and of course her record at LSU speaks for itself, and she's in the WNBA now with the Minnesota team. Wendell Davis, he caught a few passes from Tommy Hodson, didn't he?
No question.
You were around then.
Yeah, great player, and as I mentioned, great route runner, and he and Tommy were a great combination.
And of course, Suzette Lee, a national champion trackster, Skip Bertman, Carl Maddox, Lloyd Peaver, National Baseball Player of the Year in '92, the year that they didn't win the World Series, but Lloyd certainly had a great year on the mound for LSU. Keeping it in the athletic department, speaking about baseball, right-handed pitcher from North Shore High School in the Slidell area, Ryan Eads, named Cape Cod League Pitcher of the Year. This is a wooden bat league up in Massachusetts. They had an all-star game played in Fenway Park in Boston, which he was a starting pitcher for one of the 2 all-star teams. And Coach Paul Maneri and the staff at LSU has to feel good about him being named Cape Cod League Pitcher of the Year. Obviously did some good things up on the Cape.
Man, that's a pretty good league, isn't it? You know,
Yeah, it's one of the top ones.
Certainly, it's a great move for him. I mean, a great accomplishment for him to be playing that well, and you know, baseball playing all year round like they do. That's a good sign. I know Paul's got to be excited about that.
A couple of men's basketball notes for you, kind of some on the downside and then one that just broke on the upside. First off, Matt Derenbecker, who played for Coach Mike McGuire at Country Day in New Orleans, Metairie, has decided to leave LSU school and basketball program. Family just commented needed a change of environment or whatever. He started about 30 games last year, averaged about 6 points, and had a big game against Ole Miss one night. But Matt Derenbecker leaves the program.
You hate to see that, and obviously you got to do what you got to do personally, but just from a pure selfish basketball standpoint, a guy that could have been a really good role player and help you, and you know, you wonder and you look at the basketball program, and it's certainly, and we'll get into more about who they've lost, and just the talent level is not what it needs to be as competitive as they need to be. I mean, this is just really looking like it's going to be very, I mean, this is not even close at this point to a 500 SEC basketball team, and I don't know how they're going to look at it, if they're close enough to it and see the progress that, and recruiting is going well enough. You hope that a very good basketball coach in Trent Johnson can survive, but just has not been good news on the recruiting trails for the most part. I know there's been some positives here or there, and we've got a couple, but just not nearly enough.
Well, and last week we talked about Ricardo Gathers from Riverside Academy committing verbally to St. John's. Well, one of the key players in New Orleans, Javon Felix from St. Augustine High School. The Purple Knights have a great basketball program. He's one of their top players, committed to the state of Texas, so that's some talent getting away from Trent Johnson and the LSU program. And then news that came out tonight, reported by William Weathers of TigerBait.com. John Curtis down in River Ridge, New Orleans, River Ridge, right next to New Orleans. Point guard Malik Morgan, 6'3", 180 pounds, over 28 points a game, all-state Class 2A performer from the John Curtis Patriots, has given a verbal commitment to LSU. So a little bit of a sparkling news on the heels of some disappointing news.
It's a backup plan when you lose one. You've got to have that, and I think obviously, you know, I don't know if it's big news, but it's certainly positive news on the heels of some disappointing news that they got. I don't know that this offer is extended or accepted had Gathers and Felix come on board, but who knows, and certainly they need all the help they can get.
When we come back, we're going to do some more football stuff for you, some more thoughts from Media Day. Kind of been an offensive night, but we'll hit on some of the defensive stuff, of course, special teams, and we'll have more of that stuff in the subsequent weeks leading up to the contest with Oregon on September the 3rd. Again, we're here every Wednesday night with Tigers Roar from 8 to 10 p.m. If you're catching this Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you got a replay going. We appreciate you tuning into that live Wednesday nights, 8 to 10, and streaming on the internet at PelicanSportsTV.com. When we come back, more football for you. Chris Landry, Tommy Krysan. You're watching Pelican Sports TV. Baton Rouge, Lafayette, New Orleans. Spread the roar. This is Tigers Roar.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Heinen, Miss Louisiana Team USA 2011.
And I'm Paige Pennick, Miss Louisiana USA 2011.
And you're watching Pelican Sports TV.
40 years, 4 decades, nearly half a century. That's how long the citizens of Greater Baton Rouge have chosen Richards Honda. A simple, sincere, and honest process.
Louisiana's oldest and most experienced Honda dealership for over 40 years, Richards Honda.
One of the key attributes that really puts Papa John's pizza over the top is our meats. Nobody does what Papa John's does.
Introducing Papa John's new double-layered premium pepperoni pizza. Loaded with a layer of our signature pepperoni, plus a layer of oversized deli-style pepperoni. Just $10 for a large. Or get any large pizza with any toppings. Just $11. Order now at papajohns.com.
Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
Attention, all companies dealing with cash flow problems. Companies are going out of business every day. Bankruptcies are at an all-time high. Accounts receivable delinquencies are at the highest levels in decades. Let us help your business collect money owed to your business. NRH and Associates has the solutions. Let NRH and Associates utilize their innovative collection methods to get cash flow back into your business. Call 601-889-0501. That number again, 601-889-0501.
You're on the same flight.
We'll be on the same plane regardless.
Yeah, we're going to need to work. Anything together? Do we know that?
Got it.
Thanks, Dave.
The big, brilliant, thin Samsung Infuse 4G. Only from the network of possibilities, AT&T.
Pelican Sports TV presents Pelican Radio. Get ready to mix it up with me, Tommy Krysan, and Chris Landry, weekday afternoons from 3 to 4 p.m. Pro sports, college sports, high school sports, and much more. On the Score 1210 a.m. and on the internet at thescore1210.com.
40 years, 4 decades, nearly half a century. That's how long the citizens of Greater Baton Rouge have chosen Richards Honda. A simple, sincere, and honest process.
Louisiana's oldest and most experienced Honda dealership for over 40 years, Richards Honda.
We continue with Tigers Roar again, liking the new music and the bumps that Chris Lecoq put together in the opening, and you'll see some stuff at the close. And perhaps the best part of tonight's show, Chris, it's certainly not you and I, it's Miss Louisiana Teen USA and Miss Louisiana USA, letting everybody know they're watching Pelican Sports TV. That was good stuff.
Great. They're definitely first rounders in my book. No
Oh,
question.
yeah. They're the first rounders for sure. Look at that. Hey, we get a little shot of them. How about that? That's Paige Pennick on the left, Miss Louisiana USA, a senior at LSU from Shreveport, Louisiana. That's Miss Louisiana Teen USA, Elizabeth Heinen, who goes to St. Edmunds High School in Eunice. Teen USA. Those two girls were here at the studios of Pelican Sports TV last week doing a public service announcement about wearing your seatbelts and buckling up, and our crew had to be buckled up while they were here, so it was all good. Hey, each and every week, you know, like we kind of had an offensive kind of state of mind going tonight, but certainly each week we do have to talk defense, we do have to talk special teams, and as we lead into the season, you'll get a little bit of each week. Chris Landry watches practice tape. Tell everybody you're watching tape. So you're seeing offense, defense, special teams, and I know you got some comments about the defensive practices to date as we sit here Wednesday night, August 10th.
Well, you know, as you mentioned, we've talked a lot about offense and kind of given our viewers a feel for how things have looked on that side of the ball. And I think defensively, you know, what's impressed me is the depth, and I think I'd like to start on the defensive line. And one of the things that I do notice that if you look at Kendrick Adams, he looks to be a little bit quicker off the ball, and that's impressed me. Sam Montgomery, who's the best pass rusher the LSU had last year, but prior to his injury, I think is poised to have a really good year and starting to get his feet under him coming off the injury. Kiki Mingo is really good first step quickness, and I think is going to be a huge factor. LeVar Edwards is impressive, taking on and shedding blocks a little bit more than he's been in the past. He's certainly, I think, done some work in the karate area, and it's really helped him. I like their depth there. I think Chancey Aguirre and Justin Macklin gives them some depth at defensive end. And then defensive tackle, you know, Michael Brockers has a chance to be a beast. I mean, he's got the physical skill sets to be special, heavy hands, superior strength and separation quickness. I think he's got really good initial quickness off the ball. He's going to be a little high cut. No, he's not he's not Glenn Dorsey or Drake Nevis. He's a different type of player. He's a point of attack player that can get push up the middle with his strength, but he's going to clog the middle up a good bit. Josh Downs brings the quickness to the game, but Eagle Ferguson plays with good strength and good quickness inside. Anthony Johnson, the freshman, he's got a really good motor, and I think is starting to work his way into the 4th or 5th defensive tackle rotation. And Dennis Johnson is a guy that's got some limitations, but has got adequate strength at the point of attack, limited athlete. But I think it's tougher for defensive linemen to make an impact as a freshman than defensive backs like Tyrann Mathieu did, but I think Anthony Johnson could help. I like the depth there. And at linebacker, I like that depth there too. I think that, keep in mind that LSU played 270 snaps in either their dime or their nickel package last year. So when everyone talks about 3 backers, it's really not. You're going to end up playing with 2 backers most of the time, and that's going to be Ryan Baker and Cornell Hatcher. The real key to the linebacking core to me, Ryan Baker is the leader, but the key is Cornell Hatcher. He's the best athlete. They want to play him at Mike Backer to allow him to roam and be free to make plays, but he is making that transition from safety to linebacker. Still has a ways to go from a learning standpoint, and to eliminate those mistakes that in the box are much more dangerous when you try to defend the run. So I think those things are standing out to me, and I think if Cornell could get up to speed, their linebacking core could be a lot better than anybody anticipated. And I think everybody understands how good this secondary is. I mean, it goes deep. You got 4 corners that you can play with and be comfortable with without question. Mo Claiborne and Tyrann Mathieu, who could play on the outside, and he's your #1 nickel. You know, when I look at Darrell Simon, he's a big physical press cover corner. Mo Claiborne is an outstanding technician, and you know, I think Brooks can be and is a really good dime back. So they'd go 4 deep at corner. At safety, Brandon Taylor is very physical against the run, good ball skills and coverage. Gotta like what Eric Reed did last year, and I think coming into it brings a great deal of his athleticism along with his size. Craig Lawston is a physical hitter as well. Derek Bryant is their 4th safety. So this depth allows them, and remember, defensively, the way they go about playing defense under John Chief is he attacks the pass with pass rush pressure utilizing speed, getting speed out on the edge, getting some blitz looks in there, putting pressure on their corners, which are more than capable of handling man-to-man coverage. That's what he believes in. And then and because they're undersized, because they sacrifice side for speed, they defend the run with numbers. They put extra guys in the box to defend the run. So you see a very effective unit is swarming to the football, and I think they've got a lot of depth to play in that regard. You know, special teams quickly, the things that jumps out at you, I think Drew Alamon has a lot of abilities that Josh Jasper had. He just hadn't done it yet, and under the pressure of the moment, we'll see how he handles things, but he can be a very effective kickoff guy, I believe, very good field goal kicker, can do some punting, maybe some pooch punting like Josh did. DJ Howard is certainly the leader at this point for the punting spot, but I think it's a good group. You know, we talked on the offense too, we hadn't talked much about the running backs tonight, but Spencer Ware looks really good. Terrence McGee, right now at practice, looks like the back with the 2nd best skill sets of any running back on the team as a true freshman. He's a lot like Spencer Ware. Quickness, make you miss abilities, ability to catch the ball, run instincts. But Michael Ford and Alfred Blue are going to be real impact players for this offense because they're one-cut, downhill, physical runners that they want to utilize, particularly preferably with a lead, to wear down defenses. So depth is the issue. You're seeing some of the talent level that we've talked about during the recruiting process over the years start to really pay off, and I think it's a good group. Receiver, got to see somebody step up. I think Kadron Brune and James Wright, who we saw a little bit early in some of the pieces, both of those guys are physical route runners with good hands and good blockers. Good blockers, really important part of the running game. You don't see explosive runs of 15-plus yards or more unless you've got a good block by a wide receiver. Those guys are really effective. Russell Shepard looks to be smooth. The key with him is to be able to catch the ball out of his frame to allow him to work the slant routes more effectively and have more run after catch ability. But, you know, those are some of the things that jump out when I'm watching tape a little bit early through the first week of practice, and I'm excited to see this progress a little bit more as they get the pads on a little bit more and they get closer to Oregon week.
A couple of things I'd like to elaborate on. One comment that Coach Miles made yesterday when speaking about Drew Alleman. place kicker, you know, he said, you know, there's some unknown there, but Coach Miles made the comment he wants to see what happens after he misses the kick. You know, he gets out there and he misses one, and does he realize what he did wrong? Can he make the adjustment and correct it and not miss it again? You know, if you get out there and you boot a 23-yard field goal right down the middle, that's great, that's good, but how you react to adversity will be a key in that unproven spot.
No question. I mean, every player, and particularly at this spot, where it's much like a golfer. If you miss a putt, you hit a bad shot. Everyone's going to hit them. So I'm not concerned about them having a bad kick. It's how you respond from it. If you get down, that clouds your thinking, and it takes away from what you need to be focused on. Your angle approach is off. You were a little too steep, a little too flat. That's what you got to be thinking. What do I need to do to correct it? And if you do that, you're going to be fine. Focus on the process. The results are just that, the result of a process. You don't focus on the result because the result doesn't get you anywhere. It's the process that's going to create the result. And I think that's true of every position, but I think no so more than the kicker position, where they're kind of a little bit on their own to try to self-correct from a kicking standpoint, their approach. It's really a lot like golfers. I mean, you can kind of give them some swing thoughts, but you got to allow them to feel comfortable over the ball and literally approaching the football as a kicker. So I think that's a great point that Coach made.
Well, and a lot of that's between the ears, which would leave me out of that category. They got to be able to think and adjust. And before we go to break, return game. Tyrann Mathieu looks like at this point to handle some punt returns. Kickoff returns would be Ryan Brooks and Mo Claiborne.
Well, Mo Claiborne, I think, is the guy to look out for. I think he's got ability instinctively to be a really good returner. The one thing about this special teams unit, I think you got great speed in the return game, and it's a good point too. Thomas McGahee is coming in to run the special teams, but every coach coaches special teams. You know, you're going to have the running back coach the returners. You're going to have the receiver coach the gunners. You're going to have the offensive line coach the punt and kick protection units. You're going to have the defensive line coach the block protection unit, so or the rush protection unit. So it's a collaborative process there. But there's a lot of athletes here. So from a coverage standpoint, the athleticism is not going to be in short supply. Neither is the protection units. And I do think they've got some real playmaking potential there. Brooks, Randall will probably, you know, he certainly can do it, but they'd love to have Brooks and Claiborne and Mathieu to become more of a factor in it. Now, Mathieu played 75% of the snaps last year on defense. So they're going to probably monitor that when they want to use them, which is why Claiborne's going to be in a lot as well. So, but you've got some athletes there and some guys that can really take it to the house, as we see on defense. They want to utilize that in the return game as well, punt and kick return.
When we come back, I have a question for Chris about special teams, a quick question, and a quick question about a running back. Then we'll do some housekeeping announcements, let you know about all the other Pelican Sports Radio, Chris Landry Show, radio stuff, post-game show that's coming up immediately following all LSU football games on WJBO, Phones First, and Pelican Sports TV. We'll come back and put a wrap on this week's edition of Tigers Roar. You're watching Pelican Sports TV.
Hi, I'm Joe Horn, and you're watching Pelican Sports TV.
With a combined staff of over 250 years of experience, the Bugman has the upper hand on bugs.
Call us today about pest control solutions for your home.
Call 923-BUGS.
And rest easy in a pest-free environment.
Follow the Bugman's plan.
You know, on the same flight.
We'll be on the same plane regardless.
Yeah,
What
we're
we
gonna need to work. Anything together? Do we know that?
Got it.
Thanks, Dave.
The big, brilliant, thin Samsung Infuse 4G. Only from the network of possibilities, AT&T.
Explore the charms of the North Shore and visit St. Tammany Parish. Whether you're looking for a cultural experience or an adventure, you'll find it here. Enjoy great attractions and fantastic dining in a relaxed and friendly atmosphere.
Come visit us and discover the history and heritage that is Louisiana's North Shore.
For more information, log on to louisiananorthshore.com/bb.
Hello, my name is Debbie. Welcome to Debbie's Bridal, a formal affair.
Come see the many great lines we carry in bridal, bridesmaids, mothers, flower girls, tuxes, and more. We also carry over 25 top designer lines in debutante gowns, Mardi Gras, pageant, and prom. Come meet me and my staff with over 30 years of bridal and pageant experience. Debbie's Bridal, a formal affair, Burnside and Gonzales, where service matters.
40 years, 4 decades, nearly half a century. That's how long the citizens of Greater Baton Rouge have chosen Richards Honda. A simple, sincere, and honest process.
Louisiana's oldest and most experienced Honda dealership for over 40 years, Richards Honda.
We continue with the final segment of Tigers Roar for this week's edition here on Pelican Sports TV with 3 quick questions for Chris Landry. Then we got to let you know all about the Tigers Roar and other things going on under the umbrella of Pelican Broadcasting and Chris Landry's show. Quickly, special teams. Coach Miles made a reference to Thomas McGahee and some NFL influence he'll be bringing into some of the things he's going to do with special teams.
Well, I think you'll see some of that. I mean, I think there's always an influence anytime you've been in pro ball. I think where the talent level is a little more evenly dispersed, you can do some things from an assignment standpoint, but I still think they're going to rely on their athleticism and, you know, set middle return up, wide return, depending upon their film breakdown of the opponent they're playing.
And also I wanted to ask you about Michael Ford. You made some comments on radio a few days back. What's Michael Ford from Leesville looking like?
Well, he's looking good. I think he and Alfred Blue, as I mentioned when talking about the running backs, I think can have a big influence because they're both physical, one-cut downhill runners. And the way this offense wants to be run, they're going to have a lot of that. And I think preferably with the lead, they'd like to be able to use him and Blue to wear people down. And Michael certainly has a good combination of speed and power, so they want to be able to utilize that if they can. Not to change the direction, make you miss guy, but as a good downhill one-cut runner.
And Chris, you wanted to make comment about some of the true freshmen that have caught your eye while watching tape and practice.
We've talked about Terrence McGee, but I do believe that Odell Beckham could have an impact and help at receiver. He's got some ability in the open field to make you miss. Assignment is always an issue with freshmen, so getting a comfort level where they feel you can trust them is going to be important. I think Jarvis Landry, less of an issue right now, or less of a probability of having immediate impact because he's got the injury, but I still think he can have an impact. He's a good route runner, really good hands, and depending upon the play of Wright and Boone, I think he could have an impact. I think Paul Turner's another guy with some make-you-miss instinctive run skills that I think could help you as a receiver, as a slot back. And, of course, we talked about Anthony Freak Johnson at defensive tackle. Tough for a defensive tackle to have an impact like maybe some of the skill position or even defensive backs, but I think he can. I think he has an ability to work into the rotation as the 5th or 6th defensive tackle, certainly 6 at least, but I think could even be the 5th guy in the rotation by year's end. It's a good group with some depth, and I think that he can be a big part of it, and I think he's going to be a really good player as he progresses throughout his career.
Of course, Pelican Sports TV's in the markets of Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and New Orleans on the Wednesday night, and we'll reach some other areas, the North Shore and Bayou Country and Mississippi Gulf Coast on WHNO TV out in New Orleans at 5 p.m. on a Friday. Ascension Parish, working on some other parts of Louisiana, actually, as we speak, but nothing that we can announce. And, you know, we do like to sprinkle in some Lafayette stuff. We mentioned Louisiana Lafayette busted out some new uniforms, some red, white, and black combos today for new coach Mark Hudspeth. Tulane University, Bob Toledo's got a sense of excitement, thinks Tulane will be improved. And speaking of the New Orleans market, Chris, I know we've got the Chris Landry show here, which we'll tell people about, but you got another little venture going down with our friends at WIST Radio 690 AM.
Well, you mentioned that the Chris Landry show, which airs from 2 to 3 p.m. in Baton Rouge, on 1210 The Score, is now being shown in New Orleans, or now being replayed. You can listen to it on radio. You can't see it, but you can listen to it on 690 on Fridays at 6 p.m. But beginning this Monday, the morning drive, 6 to 8 p.m. On the mighty 690, 6 a.m. Thank you very much, Mr. Radio Guy.
I think morning drive would connotate a.m.
Well, 690 a.m. The radio dial is what I was trying to get at. 6 to 8 a.m. is when the show's going to be, the morning drive. So we're looking forward to that. Brian Ellie Walsh and I will be taking you through the world of sports and covering a lot of LSU and the Saints. So 6 to 8 a.m., 690 WIST, morning drive, 6 to 8 a.m.
And Brian Ellie Walsh, an award-winning writer, has covered the Saints for as long as I can remember. He and I also among the contributors to SportsNola.com. I've known Brian for quite a while, so encourage the folks in New Orleans watching Tigers Roar, spread the word on that on WIST Radio 690 AM, 6 to 8 a.m. Monday through Friday. Of course, as we mentioned, Pelican Sports Radio, which is brought to you by Pelican Sports TV, Monday through Friday from 3 to 4 p.m. on the Score 1210 a.m. We mix it up. We take your phone calls. We've got other features. Ken Trahan of SportsNola.com joins us on Thursdays. We're going to have a pick'em segment closer to football season for those of you who like to wager a little bit on college and pro football, and streaming online to Score 1210 a.m. Podcasts are available at the Score 1210 a.m. Click the on-demand button, click Pelican Sports Radio, and you can hear the Chris Landry Show and/or portions of Pelican Sports Radio on demand at your convenience. And of course, that's good worldwide for your friends and family outside of South Louisiana who want to get the very latest and the best at what's going on. Pelican Sports Radio and TV, Pelican Broadcasting, available on Facebook. Find the Facebook page, Pelican Broadcasting. The YouTube page, we have our own YouTube page, Pelican Broadcasting. You get clips from this show and other things that are going on. We get a lot, thousands and thousands of views of those different things. So obviously people do have an interest in that. We also are on Twitter at Pelican Sports. Chris Landry, as always, good stuff. I mean, you got the LSU practice tape that gets to you each and every day, and we'll continue to get the people up to date each week through Tigers Roar TV and Pelican Sports Radio and the Chris Landry Show, and getting them ready for not just LSU, but the Saints and prep football, the whole bit.
Absolutely. Look at the Saints practice tape as well. So it's a busy time, but a fun time of year, and it's the place to be. We can't wait to get into the teeth of football season. We'll have some interesting features and kind of break down LSU's opponents and what LSU's doing good, not so good, and take you through all that through the season.
And we will have the phones first. WJBO Pelican Sports TV post-game show immediately following every LSU football game, beginning with LSU and Oregon immediately after that game. You've been watching Tigers Roar on Pelican Sports TV. Spread the roar.
Hello, my name is Debbie. Welcome to Debbie's Bridal, a formal affair.
Come see the many great lines we carry in bridal, bridesmaids, mothers, flower girls, tuxes, and more. We also carry over 25 top designer lines in debutante gowns, Mardi Gras, pageant, and prom. Come meet me and my staff with over 30 years of bridal and pageant experience. Debbie's Bridal, a formal affair, Burnside and Gonzales, where service matters.
Either you can say real meat or you can't. And at Papa John's, the reason we call our sausage is because it's 100% real meat. Nobody does what Papa John's does.
Introducing Papa's Summer Special. For just $10, get a large spicy Italian specialty pizza loaded with pepperoni and double the spicy sausage. Or get any large pizza with your choice of toppings, even specialties, only $11. Order now at the new PapaJohns.com.
Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
You're on the same flight.
We'll be on the same plane regardless.
Yeah,
What
we need to work. Anything together? Do we know that?
Got it.
Thanks, Dave.
The big, brilliant, thin Samsung Infuse 4G. Only from the network of possibilities, AT&T.